Hello and welcome to the Final Bell. It is great to have your company for another week. We are proudly presented by GMHBA, the official health insurance partner of the Geelong Cats. We've got a big show coming up. Forward line coach for the Cats, James Rahilly, is going to join us. It'll be great to get his insight on that forward line that is functioning beautifully at the moment. And of course, the centrepiece of that being Jeremy Cameron, as we all just watch pretty closely as the goals tick by. But as I am every single week, I am joined by AFLW skipper, and we are doing this a day later because the skippers all got together yesterday for the AFLW. Meg McDonald is here. Hello, Meg.
Hey, Lingy. Yeah, thank you for rescheduling, and for listeners, thanks for your patience. I know it would have been a rough 24 hours, but no, it's been a big few days as we gear up towards the season. You'd know how it is. It's all of a sudden 2 weeks out, everything and anything about footy is on and coming together. So, we had a pracky match.
Season launches, you've got Captain's Day, and you've got practice matches up Saturday night on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's right. We were up there. It was funny. We left here at 8 o'clock Friday morning to play at 8 p.m. Saturday on the Gold Coast. So there's a lot of time to kill, but also exciting to get up to the beach.
I'm intrigued by the modern generation of which you are a part of, Meg.
Yeah. Slightly more modern than you, slightly less modern than my teammates.
How is time killed between early Friday morning and the game Saturday these days? Is it card games, or is that me being ridiculously old-fashioned, or is it movies? Is it just sitting around? What's happening?
Well, we got up, went to a bit of a slow start. Brekkie, we took an Uber to Broadbeach because we didn't get the Broadbeach accommodation, so we stayed in Surfers. Okay. Uber to Broadbeach, coffee at No Name Lane, walk back. It's probably a 40-minute walk back.
Nice.
Had a swim, not too big, game day swim. You can't go too hard. Back in, got in the compression, read my book, watched some TV. But all of a sudden it's sort of 3 o'clock. I didn't get a nap in. Yeah, had a sort of work meeting-ish.
Would you normally nap on a night game?
No. I think my best, I say in life, of all the times in the day I think, God, how good's a nap going to be today? It would happen 5% of the time. Okay. So no, don't change your routine. But the night before, it was 6:30 at dinner. I was getting sleepy. I'm thinking we wouldn't even be in our warm up this time tomorrow. Yes. But it went well. We had a convincing
really
win.
Good win. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good win. We had some dominant performances. Like I said last week, you want to come out of the game with a win and also with plenty of RFIs. As you mentioned, I was at Captain's Day yesterday into the league launch, so I missed the review. I have to catch up with the coach, but I think it would have been positive. A
great final hit out before round one.
Great final hit out before round one. We've got our own season launch tomorrow, and then track is clear, push before we play next week.
Excellent. Sounds good. Can't wait for that one as well. Let's get stuck into the game from Sunday.
Yeah.
The AFL men's game. Cats obviously doing a bit of a number on Port Adelaide. Clearly, as we progress into the season, deep into the season on the eve of finals, two teams at very different points, and Port Adelaide a little undermanned with a couple of their key players missing, and then throw in a late withdrawal of their captain, Connor Rosie, with illness, didn't make the flight over, and Geelong did it pretty comfortably in the end. Mind you, at quarter time, scores were level.
Well, at quarter time, I was saying we sort of arrived back here, and I thought, no, I think we're gonna dominate. I'll go home and watch it from the couch. And then at quarter time, I was like, oh, boys, tell them kick it through the big sticks. We just seem to be one of those games where you think we are on top here, and yet the scores are level. Yeah,
and you start getting those nagging little feelings of, it's not going to be one of those days, is it, where we just keep missing and then they stay close enough and it gets
Kenny's
annoying.
pumped on the boundary line of GMHBA and it's nah.
But then a 5-goal-1 second quarter, followed up by a huge third quarter where a lot of fun happened. It was pretty entertaining being here. I was down on the boundary working, and it was a great atmosphere. The fact that Jack Martin kicked 4 goals in just over 5 minutes.
Fastest ever, is that right?
Well, fastest this century.
Oh, this century, right.
Yes.
Second fastest ever, yeah.
Yeah, and then...
how long had he been on the ground? This is how close I watched the game. He didn't come in before half-time, did he?
No, not before half-time. I reckon within 5 minutes of the third he was into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the sub being Reece Stanley was a tactical sub. and more around management of. I had my moment of thinking, hang on, and I even said it in the commentary. That's not like for like.
Yeah, it's not like for like.
So I had to quickly do some checking to say, is that tactical or is there an injury there? But
do you have some connections, do you, that you could just shoot a little text to?
One or two. We usually get pretty good word off the clubs about, no, that's tactical, or no, that's an injury, or whatever it might be. Port Adelaide had the injury with Burgoyne. And then obviously it wasn't just Jack Martin in the third quarter, it was Shannon Neal as well, kicking the 3 goals. And amazingly, Jeremy Cameron was reasonably well held and still kicked 6. Thank you very much. Still kicked 6,
I know. We started the game by saying, it was at... no, oh my gosh, that's so bad. What's his name? Who played on him?
Lockie Jones.
Lockie Jones. Everyone's like, people were, Lockie Jones is having a real crack here, and yet, you get 6 kicked on you. But to talk not only about the forward line, I know we'll ask Riles about it, but was Max Holmes involved in every single one of those Jack Martin goals?
Wow.
Because listeners, I miss them. I'm not going to lie. I had to pop to the shops before they closed on a Sunday to get my Tuscan kale, my favourite veg. I come back up to 2 text messages being like, 4 goals in 3 minutes or whatever it was. How good would you feel? I didn't even know who'd done it. I had to go back to rewind.
So just so everyone knows, that's why we don't have a Meg's memo this week, because the only memo we got was on a choice
that'll be
between
$4.99. Yep, no worries.
Tuscan kale and some sort of squash or whatever it was.
There's no choice. Tuscan kale is number 1. But I went back and watched it, and my impression, knowing what the result was going to be, was, hang on, Max is in all of these.
Yeah. No, he was unbelievable, Max Holmes. And I know we say it all the time, the explosiveness of to turn a semi-stationary ball, he's receiving the ball, into a 70-metre game minimum sometimes because of his run, and either run and a bounce or run and then kick and the penetrate, and the way it just it opens the whole game up. Yeah. It gives Geelong so many different dynamics. It's impressive to watch.
Yeah, it's literally powerful and makes a powerful impression. And you want to play front half footy at this time of year, and a player that can take it forward like that is what you want. And I think there's some behind the goals vision of him with the 3rd or 4th goal, as excited as anyone that Jack had taken the ball again. And that's what was awesome. I think everyone knew what was happening in the moment. Danger was danger new on that 4th one.
Yep.
Nice little left foot. Left foot?
Yeah, just across. Yeah. I thought Bailey Smith was excellent as well. I'm going to give you a challenge when Rails comes in too. You've got to ask him about the new midfielder who was excellent again, but Grant Myers had another terrific game.
Yeah, didn't he? And I might have said this at the time, I'm not sure, but we're in a pre-game briefing with Kingy, the game, I think, before the Saints game.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just thought it was such a great insight into how the team's coached from a strengths-based sort of point of view. They know he might give up something in contested possession in size. He's not taking the ball forward 80 metres at a time, but he's such a unique threat. And I'm sure only more so because he's played in the forward. He knows what they want.
Yeah. Game number 150 coming up this week for Grind. Yeah. So he's now got that experience. He's seeing the game so well. Sean Manor I thought was superb as well. And this is where I go on my little rant about how much I love development and the fact that different players take different lengths of time to develop, but when they've got attributes, you stick with them and work with them. Zach Guthrie again showed on the weekend why he's one of the premier defenders in the competition. And that the effort, it was about 3 different efforts over here on this side, was just wow. Yeah. You think that this is a guy who, now I know it's quite a few years ago now, but he was running around in the field and all of us were saying, wow, he looks like a kid. He looks like a 12-year-old kid running out there just going to get pushed out of the way. What are they doing? But they saw what he had in his attributes and everything, and it was just about building a body, building a physicality, building an understanding of the game to let his attributes shine. And now he's one of the most superb defenders in the entire competition.
I wonder if this is going to make sense, but I often wonder... I would love to know what it is exactly they saw that they stuck with, because all of his attributes now, you think that's difficult to display when you don't have the physique, when you don't have the match experience. I can intercept really well at league level. Difficult to see that straight away. Or
I remember talking to Matt Scarlett, who was coaching at the time, and he said his decision making was just so good, so lightning fast.
Once they
believed that once he ended up with both the endurance and the physical capability plus the strength because he kept ending up in the right spot so often.
Okay.
And making, if he did get the ball at perhaps VFL level or at training level, he was making great decisions with his ball use as well as where he ended up. That once the physicality matched the brain and the decision making, they knew they had a player capable of playing at the highest level.
Yeah. You can see that he intercepts and he's disposed of it quickly, but he's never rushed with it either. It's lightning.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought he was superb again. Jack Henry continues to just play great footy every single week.
Is he going to be? I often look at him. I'm like, we need to keep you on the park for the old Blazer.
Oh, for the entire season?
Yeah, not this year, but in his career. In his career, I look at him and think, you have got. I reckon if you interviewed the league, as you know, captains say, that often gets asked, who's the best defender in the comp, that sort of thing. There would have to be players who say Jack Henry is
a nightmare to play on.
Is an absolute nightmare to play on. And if you get the whole season in, and Zach and Stewie and they all stop taking votes off him, he might be. Yeah, no, he's great and a little hanger. No worries.
Love that one. Brought the crowd to its feet once again. The VFL had the bye this week, so no one got a chance to put their name up in lights, but there are obviously a number of players in that VFL team who are knocking on the door constantly, as we've touched on before, is a really good thing. The Geelong VFLW finished off their season with a 2-point win over Darebin, which was fantastic, Meg.
Wasn't it? They were pretty motivated last week, and when I saw the girls in the recovery, I still have some attachment to Darebin, so they're like, we're going to stop them making the finals, and I was like, okay. No, well done. It was great to finish positively and some amazing performances. Abby Fav with 36 touches, Mika Morrissey with 24 and a goal. They're two of the gals that have been helping us out as train-on players in the AFLW. So to make that commitment, they trained with us the other night, went back to their last VFL training and performed on the weekend. It's really important. You get that experience and then make sure you perform as well, which is obviously really, really important. The VFL this week, they play Essendon as well on Saturday. Obviously the game for the seniors on Friday night, so you can back it up with a Saturday game at GMHBA Stadium at 12:05 p.m. And of course the AFLW, which is the following week. You've got the weekend off this weekend. I do have the weekend off.
Yes, weekend off. Nice.
Yep.
Taking on North Melbourne in the first game at GMHBA Stadium, 3:35 p.m. on the Saturday for that one. And speaking of that, don't forget to secure your tickets now for that opening round of AFLW as we take on the reigning premiers North Melbourne. Plus, you can grab your 2025 AFLW membership for $25 with an existing AFL membership. Visit membership.geelongcats.com.au for more info. There is no excuses, Meg.
No excuse. And that'll be a great round one. As part of the launch every year, they do in the women's as they do in the men's, the grand final doco video from the year before. Obviously, North won. Producer Jake's unimpressed that I had to sit through that. But I found it really, really inspiring ahead of round one. We've had a good history with North. We came into the comp at the same time. We've never beaten them. We're the only team to take points off them last year. But I looked at that video and I thought, you know what? Respect an incredible team who have what we want to have. So it'd be great to see where we're at with it.
Absolutely. Great challenge for round one. So grab your tickets for that, grab your membership. And also, speaking of tickets, as we go to the break, tickets still available for Friday night's game as the Cats take on the Bombers here at GMHBA Stadium. So come along and cheer on for what will be a big Friday night.
You wouldn't want to miss 25 goals in one night and 100.
Let's hope that happens. Yeah. That would be very, very nice. But do come along and cheer the Cats on and maybe cheer Jezza on for another nice little handful as well. Let's take a break. James Rahilly, the Cats forwards coach, is going to join us next. Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GMHBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GMHBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au.
Welcome back to the Final Bell. It's great to have you with us. We are proudly brought to you by GMHBA. We are also very excited to have the forwards coach of the Cats, James Rahilly, is joining us. Hello, Rails.
Hey, Lee. Thanks for having me, mate.
Oh, it's great to have you with us. Well, we'll just get straight to it. It's your entire plan, the way you built everything, just worked it all perfectly for Jack Martin to just be the main man in that forward line.
Yes, no, it was great, wasn't it? When we're in the coach's box, it's quite, it's pretty quiet. You don't hear it, but geez, when he took his mark and lined up for his fourth goal, the crowd was pretty special.
It was. I was in the crowd and enjoying it, but well, actually, I was working. I should say that. I shouldn't say I was totally a fan and a spectator, but at that moment, I was a fan. Can we just actually touch on Jack Martin for a second? So, just the way that he's come into the club, almost just taken that patience to rebuild his body and his confidence and everything like that. We've seen him, his splits are almost perfect. A third in the back line, a third in the midfield, and now in the forward line. Can you talk our listeners a little bit through his process to get to AFL level again and to be able to play that sort of footy?
Yeah, I can. Obviously, we rated Jack very highly, and when we heard he was coming to the club, he probably spent most of his time predominantly forward at Carlton. So I spent a lot of time with him early days as sort of his coach to sort of talk him through probably the plan that we had for him. And that wasn't really a plan on when he would play. It was probably more just putting as much time as we could into his body. And the high performance team have been fantastic. We've had meetings along the way, and Jack's been fantastic in the way he's built his body to get it to where it is today. And now that he's sort of ready to play, we're still probably each week working out where he can play, because he's such a versatile, he's such a smart player. He's one of the best players I've come across to actually talk about footy to. So to have that experience and that leadership out there, it's fantastic. And where do we play him? He's been pretty good at half back. He can play on the wing, and obviously 4 goals in 5 whatever minutes is pretty special as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask. I mean, the flexibility is a hallmark of most of the team, and I imagine he's the kind of player that lines argue over. Going forward, will it be a game-by-game basis, or is he looking to settle somewhere?
I think so. But just his ability to play tall and small in the forward line is probably where he'll be for the next couple of weeks. It's a dream as a coach, because there's not too much you actually have to coach. His ability to know when to get back to his opponent's body, where the dangerous space is, his ability to work with his teammates, and just as I said, how he sees the game is, it makes my job very easy.
We look at that Geelong forward line, and naturally everybody's eyes tend to go to Jeremy Cameron and the incredible year he's having, the excitement around the goals and the potential 100 and everything like that. But I suppose you'd be most excited about the other pieces of that forward line and the ball movement inside. We can't help but also focus on Shannon Neale, and unfairly it was, he's the heir apparent to Tom Hawkins, he's just going to fill Tom Hawkins' shoes. It's ridiculously large shoes to fill and put that pressure on him. But it feels like he's just handled it unbelievably well and has built his form over the course of the season so well. Can you share with our listeners what it's like, Shannon Neale, and the work that he's had to put in over multiple years to be having this sort of season? Yeah, no,
Shannon, and again, probably making my job easier. He's one of the easiest guys to coach as well. He's so diligent with everything he does, Shannon. He trains really hard. He knows what he needs to work on, and he's very focused and driven kid. And you're right. I'm glad you said that, King. It's probably unfair to put him, compare him so much to Hawk. They are very, very different players. Like Shannon's from a running background, 400, 800 metre runner, which is such a strength in the modern game. But I think you see that, and it has taken him time, and he's worked very hard on it. But now his ability to get at the footy, be stronger in the contest, and going up against some really good players, and being pretty competitive, it's just massive for the forward line, but massive for the team.
Speaking of the forward line and the team, I mean, the goals have really started to flow, both individually and collectively, in the past couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll speak more about Jez in a second, but I'm interested because I feel like internally the focus at this time of year is get your defence right, and have a focus on that, and yet big scores have flown off the back of it. How do you coach, or what are your focuses between the two? Is it getting up and defending the game and trusting that the players will just express themselves on the way back forward, or are you focused on connection this time of year?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a balance, and you just constantly, as Scotty says, we're always working on our game, and we still are. We've consistently been a pretty good team at scoring from stoppage, so that hasn't dropped off. Probably this year at times, I think we probably haven't scored as well in transition or off intercept. So that's probably a bit to do with our shape of the ground and obviously our defence. So we're actually working harder on our defence at the moment, and I think that off the back of our good defence, we're getting some really good looks ahead of the ball. So, it just shows how it all works together. But obviously the forwards, they are a byproduct of what happens, and I think our backs, I thought they were fantastic on the weekend with how they got or started our ball movement from down back in defensive midfield. And then our mids of, obviously Baz and Holmesy were so powerful and penetrating on the weekend. The forwards are a byproduct of all that, and they executed well. Yeah,
they've lost. Have you lost a forward to the mids? Is Brian? Have you pushed him up just so he delivers it a bit?
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Teams got to think of. Obviously, that everyone knows about Baz and Holmesy, but Grian's a bit different. He's not probably as penetrating or meters gained, but he finds little holes. So it's something to, they can't just see our midfield and filter back to our forwards, because if Brian gets the ball, then he's going to hurt you. So
I'm interested in just to touch on when you talk about the forward line, the midfield, the back. So James Kelly predominantly with the backs, Kingy with the midfield group, and yourself with the forwards. But so much of what the forward line ends up with, the product of being able to score and kick those goals, is around the ball movement right across the ground. So you as the coach of the forwards, how much or how often would you step into the midfield group or the defensive group and talk ball movement and connection across the ground?
Yeah, no, look, not so much in the meeting, King, but we definitely have a focus in our team meeting, and we all play a part in that, and that's the way Scotty wants to work. Yes, I have my divisional meetings with the forward line, but we work very, as a collective in the coaching group. So we work on everything. I work on defence. We'll obviously speak to James Kelly about that, and obviously with Kingy, with the forward structure and how we want to set up at stoppage is different every week. So that's just a constant. And in our team meetings, we talk, total football, as Scotty calls it.
I imagine the wings are a big part of that. Ollie Dempsey's scored heavily, particularly in the first half of the season. How much are you having an influence on that challenge forward, really aggressive nature we have with our outside players? Yeah,
well, Ollie was with me all last year, all pre-season, so he was with me every day, and he was really diligent with that, with vision and watching pre-season edits in training, and had a fantastic start. I think it was round 1 against St Kilda. He kicked 3 goals. He's pretty much our best player, and pretty much won the game for us. And then I lost him. I think he played a couple more games as a forward, and then we needed a winger with his running power. Obviously, he needs to get back. As a winger, you need to get back and almost be that 7th defender, which he does really well, but he also gets really hard forward, and he's just so dangerous in the air and on the ground. So, it's been great to watch his development.
I'd love to sit and be a fly on the wall in the push and pull of some of the personnel.
Yes.
Just going,
you're mine.
Love to keep Ollie forward, okay, would be a good winger. All right, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. There is a bloke you do have at, I was going to say full forward, that's not even right, but in your forward line, who might kick 100 goals in a season, and we are all having a little bit of fun as fans of his teammates perhaps looking for him occasionally or giving a little handball. What's the balance in the run home? How do you give any instruction around that, or just again let the guys sort it out and have some fun with it?
Honestly, we haven't spoken about it. I don't have a heap of control over Jeremy anyway. It's not that hard. I'm not giving away too much for there with opposition. Watch how he plays, but I suppose there is a balance. But there is, if Jeremy is very, very dangerous, obviously with ball in hand, and as Scotty said in the presser, the more we can give it to Jezza, the better we are. That's just a fact. But it does open up holes if they're going to watch him a little bit more as well. So, if they're going to be a little bit closer with Jeremy, then that's opening up holes for other players. And I think that happened in the third quarter with Shannon Neal and Jack Martin. So, it is interesting. And there is there's definitely a balance thing, but there's also an energy to what it's bringing at the moment as well. And as a coach, I definitely don't want to slow that down or stop that.
Yeah, I love that. We've touched on some of the big stars of the team, and we're lucky to have a lot of them. But one of the questions we get asked most regularly on the pod is, who's the most underrated player on the team? So as the forwards line coach, and looking can be the whole ground, is there anyone we're not talking about? Maybe you want to keep them secret, but anyone you want to give some flowers to publicly to the fans?
Well, there's a lot of guys down back, and you could name them all, to be honest. All of our defenders. I think we know obviously Zach Guthrie, and the role Mark O'Connor and O'Shea's actually starting to get a bit of credit for his roles.
Zach can kick a goal too.
He can.
He's got a lovely set shot.
He can. Probably look in the forward line. It's obviously Bradley Close who just connects us all and just fixes up all the things that Jeremy might be doing or Patrick might be doing, and Bradley is so good at just keeping us connected and fixing up those little gaps in our game.
Just on him, I reckon he got a hand on a footy probably 10 times on the weekend where it was Port were out and gone, and it was a miss kick from us and it was going to be an intercept mark, and he was the one who just got a fingernail or something, and then we're back in the game. Yes. I thought he was brilliant without even getting those possessions.
And he's not a big guy, so when he's lunging in front of us, to intercept, he's putting his body on the line.
There's games where I thought, Close, he's definitely had 5, 6, 7 tackles, and he might have had 2 or 3, but it's just that perceived pressure, that hand in, that ability to turn the ball over. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Riles, we've got to let you go because you do have a team meeting to get to. We are loving everything you're doing. You clearly enjoy it and love the assistant coaching role. So keep it up. Good luck for the rest of the season. We can't wait to see what the next 3 home and away games plus finals has got to in store for us. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Lingy. Thanks, Meg. Go Cats.
Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GMHBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital Cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GMHBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au.
Welcome back to the final bell. Big thanks to GMHBA for supporting us in bringing this to you every single week. Meg, quick health update. I say it every week though, don't I? Check the social media and check the website.
Check the social media. If you haven't noticed throughout this pod, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the AFL this week. I've been busy. So, I got nothing for you.
You have been very, very busy. That is understandable. The good news is, with a little insight on the health update, is that Collar, Mitch and Cam Guthrie are all tests to play this weekend, which I kept seeing indefinite with Collar. To hear he's a test is really exciting. Cam Guthrie, we just all wish him, we just want him a chance to play footy.
Totally.
And then obviously Mitch coming back from that shoulder injury as well, obviously trying to give himself the best chance to...
About 750 games worth of AFL experience up to play at some level this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah. So we've got really good health at the moment across the club. The only other one is Ollie Henry, who's in the concussion protocols at the moment. So he's the other one named on the injury list. But please do check the health update on all the other social media and website channels. Do not take our word for any of that. Let's get to some questions, Meg. Actually, James Rahilly, just chatting to him, it was fantastic to talk with him about the forward line and the different parts of it there. And it leads into this first question a little bit. And I'm keen to get your thoughts on the back of Rails's comments as well. NJ Knight asked, where is Jack Martin's best position?
Sub? You can't, can you?
Someone joked on the commentary, it might have even been Joel Selwood who was on saying, you don't want to perform that well as a sub because then you get the sub.
It's funny. I'll have to go back and listen to you have that discussion, but those were my exact thoughts. It's like, well, gosh, imagine being able to insert a player like that whenever you want, but then you can't look past having him from the first bounce. But I don't know that that's what NJ Knight's getting at.
I sensed by Rails's answers before in the previous segment that Jack Martin's brain, footy brain and forward craft and just ability to see the game as a forward sounds pretty elite.
Yeah.
And it feels like that forward option is certainly something that Rails wants him to continue to play.
Well, if you can play tall and small like he spoke about, that's we'd like him, and come this time of the year, putting an extra score on the board is great. But, equally, I don't mind a good footy brain behind the ball either. So wherever he's needed.
Can I give a little pump up just while we are talking about Rails and referring to that previous segment? The incredible job he does and he clearly has a great way of coaching good ball movement, forward line craft. I mean, he was previously an assistant coach at the Adelaide Crows, and their forward line work was excellent, really high quality. And then we're able to entice him back here, which was brilliant. And now seeing the connection and their the ball use and the fact that so many of the forwards work in, they can work into little pockets of space and find that isolation, and they're not competing against 3 or 4 opposition defenders at one time. Clearly really knows his stuff.
Yeah, and it must be the line at which you have to most orchestrate everyone's individual strengths and different types of players. It's not, of course there's a system, but at the moment you look, he's maximising a unicorn of a forward in Jeremy Cameron, the creativity of a Myers, although he's lost him at this point, a new powerhouse that is Dangerfield. He's got so many different types, and making them sing together seems, he does it so well, and you'd think you've got just this plethora of players available to you, but getting them to harmonise must be quite hard, and he does it with ease, it seems.
Yeah, and he gave the shout out to Brad Close and understands the importance of that player in there. Sean Manners, another one who can be a bit midfield, but also high impact forward. Tyson Stengel throw in his ability, and you're almost having to feed lots of different mouths, because forwards naturally want to kick goals and want to create things, but somehow you got to do it all in unison, which he's obviously doing a great job of. This one's for you. I
don't know, you're Mr. AFLW commentary this year.
Oh yes,
the answer
can't
to this
wait
is,
for that one.
I'll give you the answer to this, just a secret.
Eric Hartman wants to know, can Georgie Pressparkas win the league BNF? 40 disposals, 27 contested, 9 tackles and 2 goals on the weekend.
Exclamation point.
Put about 7 exclamation points on that one.
So you're new to football AFLW analysis, but what would you say? Say yes.
Even without seeing that stat line, the way that you have always spoken about Georgie, I've watched a lot of Cats AFLW as opposed to watching across the entire league often. Georgie just seems incredible at what she does. So I think she has the capability.
Absolutely she does. You obviously do a lot of interviews in my past commitments the last couple of days, and you don't want to just lay on the sort of expectation and the pressure to a player that's still in their early 20s and still has their best footy ahead of them. But she is unlike any other player I've ever played with, and she's an extraordinary player. When you were describing how Max Holmes puts 70, 80 metres on the game instantaneously, she's like that. She explodes out of stoppage. She doesn't move in the same way that he does, but it's with speed and agility. I'm not going to throw another big name in there and say, I'm hesitant. But let's just say the way Nick Dacos escapes the stoppage and drives out and finds his space and then uses skill is somewhat what Georgie's like. The velocity that she plays with is what reminds me of him. So she knows she's got plenty of room for improvement in her own game, but that's by no means beyond her capability. If not this year, then in the future. And shout out to Eric, who is possibly our number one fan. He was rolled into the Gold Coast. There he is. He's up on the Gold Coast. He's always so generous with his support and respectful with the team. And we love your work, Eric.
Brilliant. Great shout out. And let's hope Georgie can do that. A very, very exciting season ahead. This is a contentious question, Meg. Because
Scotty doesn't like any songs, is that what we heard?
Yes, and I've probably got my coach's back there.
Okay.
But I am in the 4 walls of the club, and I'm all for trying new things. What song would you hate to hear on repeat as a goal song? Clearly, if it was your opponent's song, you don't need
I don't need that.
I tell you what song I was over. I don't even know the name of it. I can't tell you. It's a modern song. Whatever bloody song Aaron Cadman had up at Giant Stadium a few weeks ago, where he just went bang, bang, bang. My kids turned around and they were like, "Oh, I hate this song." Because
Yeah,
it
the
kept-
Charlie Cameron's Sweet Caroline gets. I get a bit over that one.
Country Roads.
Sorry, Country Roads.
Roads,
I mean,
no.
so different. Sorry, I'm thinking about the English women's football team. But yeah, Country Road gets me a little bit. Perhaps the most irritating song I know. It's not that this has ever come up, but Benny and the Jets. I can't with that song.
Well, I wonder how many Port people just thought the Macarena was the most annoying song in the world on the weekend.
I will say this makes me think of the time that I was playing on Bonnie Too Good. She's a good player, Bonnie. We were having a laugh about something. I said what my goal song was. She proceeds to kick a goal on me and then comes up and sings it in my ear. Live back. It was well played by her, but
Well played.
I didn't need it.
No.
I didn't need it at that moment.
No, you don't need it. What was Zach Tui's The Rattling Bog? Was that
We
the
love
Irish?
that.
Yeah,
I love that.
So I'm all for one-off type songs. Anyway, I won't go on my rant about music after goals.
You want to hit shuffle, that's what you're saying.
Well, no. I just think, say Charlie.
Guys, it's Missy Higgins' skull. Let's just make that the one and only. Put it on there.
I don't mind the Charlie Cameron. I'm a John Denver fan, of course, as well. So I don't mind the Country Roads just for Charlie, not for the entire rest of the team.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll take a breath. There's no name on that question. So it's possibly sent in by Chris Scott, coach of the AFL.
I still haven't submitted mine, everyone, so make your suggestions.
If you want to send in, put it in the fan questions. What should Meg McDonald's goal song be this season? And we'll get it played. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll do our best to get it played, guys.
This one's an interesting one. I would have thought I know the answer, but is Max Holmes not getting the recognition he deserves from the external AFL media? I think he gets enough love.
Enough love. You'd rather a little bit less than a little bit too much, wouldn't you?
Yeah, certainly from a just keeping everything calm perspective. But I mean, I think
put some respect on his name, is what you're saying.
I think most people would across the AFL media acknowledge that he's one of the best midfielders in the comp. He's not probably yet being spoken about as like on this season a Nick Dacos, Jordan Dawson, Noah Anderson thing, but I reckon he's in that next little group of 6 to 8. The Bont is of course in that group, that top group. But if you named, say, your 5 best, Max's name might not appear in that list. Yeah. But if you named your following 10, I reckon most would have Max somewhere near there. I certainly do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. He's maybe not the name on everyone's lips on every show every night of the week, but he's certainly. I mean, he's not getting disrespected by any means. He's getting getting kudos, and if he keeps going the way he is, no doubt that'll be. I think some of it's impacted by as we've said throughout this whole pod, the names that we have not only around him, but that he's kicking it forward to. Those other ones that you name are sort of not forward, but they win games off their own boot a lot of the time. You know, Bont pushes forward and kicks 3 or, that sort of thing. Max just sets up Jack for 4 or Jez for 6 or...
What about that goal he kicked, the first goal of the game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that started down where I was sitting on the boundary for Channel 7. And because it was early on in the game too, the freshness of the explosion of his legs, it went from a contested situation into the ball just being gone. And it was like racehorses exploding out of the gates of Flemington, the way they all moved away from the stoppage.
Yeah.
And then it was Max, and Max finished it. And wow.
Yeah.
Amazing to watch. Hopefully we see some of that this Friday night. The Cats taking on the Bombers at GMHBA Stadium. 7:40 p.m. As I said before, tickets still available, so grab some tickets and come along and cheer on the Cats. Even the long-suffering Bombers fans, come on. It's even if you I know there's lots of Bombers fans live in Geelong. It's 5 minutes from home. Come to the ground. It might
see another debutant. Who knows?
Yes, that's very true. They obviously
another one, Mr. Worldwide.
I think the Bombers showed against the Swans, though, they will attempt to close the game down, make it pretty low scoring and just at least keep themselves in the game as best they possibly can. ultimately, hopefully, Geelong prove a bit strong as we're really gearing up towards finals, obviously with the Swans to come. And then hopefully at some stage today, we do get round 24 coming out. Producer Jake, there's still no sign of round 24? Today or tomorrow, we might get round 24 against the Tigers when we're playing them. But
you wouldn't want to miss what the Cats are doing. But also, yeah, I agree. Bombers fans get down. I've called a couple of Bombers games this year, and they've got some exciting. I'm a big Angus Clark fan.
Yeah, I like him
good's
too.
he?
Yeah. He moves through the middle of the ground but gets forward and can kick goals. And from all reports, a terrific kid.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
And that could be the one silver lining of their season, is that they've been able to blood a lot of kids and had a look at a few maybe a year earlier than they would have necessarily got a chance to. So it might hold them in good stead, hopefully. Hopefully not on Friday night. We don't want them going too well on Friday night. But do come along, cheer the Cats on. I can't believe we are getting this close to finals.
I know.
It's amazing.
But the sun has a bit more warmth through it if we're really pushing in, and you think, wow, yeah, we're about to start. Boys are about to hit the big time.
Yeah, we've got an exciting few weeks coming up. AFLW kicking off, not this weekend, the following weekend.
The girls, we've just seen them walk in, so they're about to take over the studio, and make sure you listen to them as well.
Oh, beauty. So their podcast is back this week. Week. Beautiful. Oh, no. We're the B graders now.
No doubt.
Damn. They will let the B graders come back next week, you and I.
I'll be here.
We'll be here. Thanks, Meg. Great to see you.
On you. Thanks, Liggy.